everyone. So last time, a couple days ago, we tried doing this and there was like a little bit of technical problems, but today I think we are a-okay to start. So, hi, I hope everybody had a great week. So last week we had 4th of July and the concerts started again in the United States during 4th of July. And it was really amazing to see people gathering to sing and dance. It was magical. And it also brought me a lot of hope that countries like Brazil, they're going through so much struggle during the pandemic, will soon be able to have concerts. Music is such a big part of the Brazilian culture. And so there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's really just up to the leaders to get the vaccine to the people. On a brighter note, I bring to you today to talk about the healing power of music, making music during the pandemic, top Billboard singer and producer of kirtan, reggae, electronic music. His music has no boundaries, and he also plays a lot of instruments that we're going to talk about it. Hi, Jazz, how are you?
Hi, Viviane, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so happy that we made this happen.
Me too.
So tell me, how was it to just see concerts coming back? And it must have been difficult for musicians to because a big part of what you do is your interaction with people. I mean, it's great that you're able to, all the singers were able to do online, but there's an energy that comes with doing live concerts. So how was that for you during the pandemic?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All I can say is this last concert I played 3 weeks ago in Salt Lake City. It was a festival of colors for about 1,000 people, and it just lifted everyone's spirits so high. It was totally amazing, and people were hugging each other and saying, "We haven't done this in over a year, 2 years." You know, it was really fabulous, and so there's this sort of magical love bubble that's happening right now, you know, with the events. People are just so happy to experience it. And I'm coming at it with a lot of joy and sort of refreshed and replenished energy. You know, honestly, it was kind of good for me to sort of take a pause. And I think a lot of musicians felt the same way. You know, touring is a lot of work. It's a lot of energy expended and a lot of traveling. You know, that can be challenging at times. So I think, you know, the fact that everyone hit the pause button, from like me to Rihanna, you know, like everyone had to stop playing, and it was so unprecedented. You know, it was really actually kind of an amazing thing, and some incredible music has been made in the studio. You talked about live streaming. You know, that's been happening in a whole new way. So, you know, trying to look at the glass half full kind of thing, not to, you know, belittle the pandemic and all the struggle there, but, you know, there definitely have been some things that have come out of this that, you know, I'm grateful for.
So for you creatively, what it did for you to go more inwards and make music and creating music during the pandemic, how was it the process for you?
Well, you know, initially it was really hard. I mean, I think like everyone, it felt like a gut punch. I mean, you know, I lost a whole year's worth of tour income and schedule and everything. It was paralyzing for about a month. But, you know, I mean, we have to adapt. And I realized quickly that everyone's in the same boat, you know, so it's not just me. And I quickly sort of pivoted to just being really creative. I mean, I'm always creative, but like just really doubling down. And last year I released 6 singles.
Wow.
I've already released 3, or I can't even remember how many. I think I've released 3 or 4 singles this year already, with another one coming out, another couple coming out soon. I have an album coming out at the end of the year. So it's just
so it was productive.
Yes.
I mean, I think there's so much to say about sometimes when challenges come into your life, do you feel paralyzed or you thrive?
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of both, to be totally honest, you know. But
it's a process,
yeah.
I guess, right? It starts with you feeling paralyzed, and then you need to find your way.
And like to bring it back to yoga, I mean, that's what yoga is all about. It's, you know, you go back to your practice, you do your practice whether you're feeling good or you're feeling bad, you know, and it's that practice of sublimation through whatever you're feeling. If it's funkiness, if it's happiness, you know, you just sort of go there. And I think art is really similar. Art is the same way.
Yeah. So just to go back a little bit, let me understand, how was it for you? How did you start with music? At what age, and what brought you to wanted to sing more spiritual kind of awareness music?
Wow, such good questions. Well, I have to give a big shout out to my mom, and she got me started on guitar when I was 9.
Oh, wow.
So
That's great.
that was my first instrument. At 9 years old, I started the guitar. But, you know, I just took to it like a fish to water, they say. And, you know, I quickly from there went to the bass guitar and then percussion and then singing and learning music from around the world. My parents were hippies, you know, they were kind of like into, you know, alternative thought. And, you know, my mom was doing yoga like way before it was cool, you know. No, I'm just joking. But
and so that, no, but it's true. And that has had a big influence in you growing up, and right?
Huge influence. And yeah, there would be chanting, you know, mantra chanting in the house that my dad would play constantly. So it kind of just got into my consciousness, these beautiful sounds, Om, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. You know, I would just hear them, and they sound really beautiful. They sound very soothing, and we would chant them. And, you know, from a very young age, I mean, I'm not from India, you know, I don't have that background, but it's just like from the, as long as I can ever remember, there were mantras being played and chanted around me. So, you know, it really feels like something that's part of my authentic experience, you know, as a musician and as an artist. And as I began to develop, you know, love for different styles of music, I grew up in a beach town. You said you're from Brazil. So one of the musics that I like really love is reggae music, because I would go down to the beach and that was the music that was cool. You know, that was what people would listen to. And so my first album was called Dub Mantra, and dub is like a style of reggae, and mantra means this this yogic sacred syllables. It literally means instrument of thought or tool for your mind. It's like a meditation tool. And so I put these two styles together, and they really fit really well together, because in India, you know, you have a drum called the tabla, and it goes dagina tinakadina dagina tinakadina.
Do you play it?
I do. I didn't bring it today.
Do you have it there? Can you show us?
I had it at my other studio where the internet was.
Oh, that's for next time.
Yeah, for next time. But I can speak it. So it goes like dagina tinakadina dagina, and the reggae chikit 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 chikit. So they kind of fit together, right? The different rhythms fit together from totally different sides of the world, you know. And that's where I got this idea to sort of combine these two styles of music. And I'm not the only one that's done this. Jai Uttal has a lot of music like this, and DJ Drez and other people. But I released this album in 2012, which was almost 10 years ago now, called Dub Mantra. And it's sort of having a resurgence. It's one of my most popular songs is from that album now.
That's great. I was actually watching an interview yesterday with Zig Marley, and he was saying, like, you know, especially right now, the importance that music has, even in politics, how it affects people, you know, even subconsciously.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And reggae, in particular, has always been kind of a vehicle for those sort of messages. You know, uplifting, hopeful messages, but also strong messages. You know, there are problems in the world, and you know, I think Bob Marley said it really well, that reggae has a happy beat, right? So because it has this happy beat, you can deliver a strong message, and it kind of delivers that message in kind of a way that people can connect with. And I released a song last year called Promises, which spoke to that. It spoke to the election and the turmoil in this country and different places around the world. And it was a new voice for me. I don't normally speak really political style, but it was fun actually. And it was with an artist called Michael Rose from Black Uhuru. He's a super famous.
Oh my God, I love Black Uhuru.
Yeah. It was an honor, a true honor to play with him. I mean, he's a legendary artist. So that's a song called Promises.
Oh, I have to check it out.
Yeah.
And not only that, but also, do you believe that, especially mantras, they affect us on a cell level?
Yeah. I really actually do. I believe in all of this kind of mystical aspect of it. And, there's different ways to think about it. You can think about it kind of in this sort of meditative, mystical, spiritual sense. And you can also think about it from like a scientific standpoint too. And I wrote an article for LA Yoga on the actual properties of sound healing and vibration and the way that it has these effects on the brain and the body. And it's becoming more acknowledged by medical science. These different ways that it affects the brain, such as releasing more serotonin, like when you sing, for instance, reducing the cortisol levels, so it reduces stress, and so these practices do have an effect. From a Sanskrit kind of yogic philosophical perspective, there's also a deeper layer to that the words themselves are considered to be like bija syllables, or sort of these seed syllables that are chaitanya, or living. So the mantra itself is thought of as this kind of consciousness, which I believe, because, if you look at the world, there's all this stuff we can't see. I mean, if we just think of the world as the solid part of the world, that's not even all the world. And even science says that there's all this stuff that we're not even perceiving that's in our world. So, the real answer is I don't know, but I believe that it's true. And I've felt it in my own life, these transformative qualities of these practices.
Right. And I also think that it doesn't happen in a rational way. It's more something that you feel it, right? With music. All of a sudden, you don't have to have a great voice, but all of a sudden you're singing, you're involved in that energy, and it takes over you. You're not thinking, oh, is this, because I feel that sometimes when people are meditating, it becomes very mental, all the thoughts. And then when you're singing, because I believe that chanting mantra is a way of meditating.
Yes.
It's you're all of a sudden the mantra takes over, and the sound.
Yeah. There's so many beautiful ways to describe that. For instance, Bob Marley, to take it back to reggae, said, when the music hits, you feel no pain. And that's exactly what's happening. Music, it puts you into this sense of universal time. The rhythmic aspect of music, it's sort of, it relaxes the brain. You stop worrying and thinking so much. And it puts you in this kind of hypnotic state as the beats of the drums are playing. And then on top of that, as the melodies and the harmonies are expanding, it just has this effect on your consciousness that's indescribable, but everyone knows it. So you're absolutely right. It's like a feeling. The feeling is much more powerful than any words could ever describe it, when you're in that musical flow state. A lot of artists have been calling it a flow state. And my friend Amani from Desert Dwellers uses that term a lot. And that's really true. It's you kind of get out of that sort of mental sort of reality, and you just go into this sort of different kind of consciousness reality. And it's very similar to yoga. I mean, how many times you're a yoga teacher, how many times have you been in a funky mood or whatever, and then go doing yoga, and 15 minutes later, you can't even remember what was bothering you because you're so happy, from moving your body.
Yeah. And for me, when I'm having turmoils or emotions that are affecting me, that's when I know for sure that I need to get to the mat, even more than when I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Every single time it doesn't fail. It's just there for you to get in touch with yourself. And to, I think it's a place, I think actually the mat for me, it's a place to remember. To remember my essence.
Yeah, that's
Just
really
like,
beautiful.
I guess, music for you.
Yeah, the same. Music is a really strong practice, and it is a practice. It is like yoga. I mean, you have to keep working at it, and that's what's kind of fun about it to me. It's like a never-ending journey. I'll never get there, you know. I'll never actually become a master. I'll never actually become complete. Like it's always about the process. And that's what I love about it, because it's about being in the present moment. Like if I'm in the present moment, then I can decide how to sing my note and how to, you know, play my rhythm and listen. It's a lot of it is just about listening to the other artists and getting that inspiration, you know, kind of relaxing into that present moment, you know, because again, you can't sort of mental your way out of a lot of these things. Creativity comes from, we don't know where it comes from. I mean, like, where does creativity come from? It's like, they call it divine inspiration. It just sort of zaps you from somewhere. And love, somebody said here, love, creativity is love. I totally believe that. It's this sort of love energy, you know, of the consciousness energy. And so, you know, for me, mantra is really fun to play and sing, because most people in the world don't actually speak Sanskrit. There are a few places in the world where actually people speak it. I've heard it spoken in the vernacular in Varanasi, India. But in general, most people don't speak it. So because of that, it allows the mind to sort of relax, you know, because we don't really know what it really means, you know, and the words are metaphorical also, you know, and the sounds are so beautiful. Like if you think of the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, all these syllables are really smooth, right? In music, we call them legato, right? There's nothing percussive about it. Om Namah Shivaya. It's like being in the water, right?
Yeah.
The waves. I'm also a surfer, so you know, it's like feeling that movement. And a lot of the mantras are this way, you know, and so the sonic quality of the mantra, of the sound, you know, the sound current, is in itself exciting to me, you know. And this is true of like all kind of poetry in a way. I mean, making sound is beautiful, you know. So that's kind of where the creative aspect of this.
How is your creative aspect? How does that work for you? Are you somebody that sits every day and just keep the channel open to see if something comes up, or like how is your process when you're writing a song, for instance? And then we're gonna go into this new song that you
Yeah.
wrote.
This is a really great question, and there's actually kind of a lot of answers to it. I mean, you know, my sort of go-to style is like you said, just sort of stay open. I always have a pen and pad with me. Before I had an iPhone, you know, I grew up as a kid without a phone. Like we were like the last generation, right, not to have this technology.
Right.
But so, you know, I would always have these little scraps of paper, like a napkin or a Post-it, you know, with these little ideas. And then I would kind of put them together. You know, it was rare that a whole song would come to me like as a single download. It usually would be like more of a collage style. So I get these inspirations and then I weave them together, you know.
Great. So
but sometimes, like, you know, as I become more yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and yeah, as I'm working on all these new projects, sometimes I don't like, I get that what's called writer's block, artist block, and that's a whole other topic of conversation, how to like get through that. And basically, in a nutshell, it's all about just keep working, keep writing, keep doing something. If you're stuck on something, do something else, but keep sort of doing something. And actually, that's how my album Meditation Music was created, because I was working on the album that I'm actually releasing now, but I was so writer's blocked on it that I couldn't move forward on it. So I just started making these other pieces to kind of relax. And after a while, I had a whole album of it. And amazingly, that one charted on the Billboard. That was the one that charted on the Billboard, you know?
That's
like,
amazing.
and it was,
So do you think that actually writer's block, it's maybe like when we are trying to control so much a situation and the universe is just saying, get out of the way so I can come in and, you know, so you can be a channel for what's the message is supposed to be?
yeah, I hear that really strongly. And, you know, sometimes, like you said, it's a message. You just need to pivot to the next thing. I mean, it's hard. It's actually a difficult thing to know. And this is where intuition comes in, because sometimes you actually do need to push through something. Like you have a block and you just need to put, you know, some pen to paper and sort of through that. And, you know, because this is how, you know, every project has a difficult moment, right? There's no project that's 100% easy, right? There's always
everything in life, not just like your projects, raising a kid,
yeah.
geez,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, so sometimes you have to just, you know, push through it. But you're right. Sometimes you have to set something down and do something else. And that's where the juice is, you know? So yeah, it's an interesting dance. That's what I love about it, because it's very variable. And I like that every day is different, you know, when you're doing this kind of work.
Right, because we are different every day, right? We constantly
Yeah.
change. We're not the same as we were yesterday, I think.
Absolutely.
So why don't you tell me about this new hit song and how did it come about? Like, what was the inspiration for that one?
Wow. Well, thank you for calling it a hit. It's actually doing pretty well on Spotify, so maybe it will be a hit. We'll see. Maybe it already is. Thank you.
Well, you know, they say the words have the power, right?
Power.
They bring things to life. So let's put the energy out there.
Absolutely. No, it's a really fun song, and actually quite fun. It was really fun watching you do yoga to it the other day when you posted that video. That was really cool.
And so how did the song come about? What inspired you? Tell us the name of the song and what's inspiring you to write the song.
It's called Between the Mountains and the Sea. And it's actually written about the town I live in called Santa Barbara, which is north of LA. And it's where I was born. And it's located between these beautiful mountains and the ocean. So it's called Between the Mountains and the Sea. And it sort of just talks about what you feel like when, you know, I was a child growing up there and looking at the mountains, looking at the ocean, and feeling this sense of wonder at how beautiful nature is. And that's really the concept of the song. And it's produced by DJ Taz Rashid, who's a very successful yoga musician. And it's just it's very good. Beat, kind of modern beat, and then the song is on top of it. So it's a lot of fun. It's a happy song.
We definitely need happy songs after this pandemic.
Yeah.
Do you have a guitar with you? Will you sing it for us?
I do. I have all my instruments. Yeah.
Oh, well, so why don't you show us a little bit of what you have there, your instruments?
Okay. Yeah, so before I play the song, maybe I'll show you this instrument. So this instrument is my newest love. It's called Ngoni. And it's a harp.
Where's that from?
This is from West Africa. And let me just play you a little. It's really pretty. It's like a harp.
Yay. Now we're gonna get our own private concert.
Can you hear that?
Yes, it sounds almost like a harp, right?
How about let's try something. Let's both Om together on the harp, okay? Om.
Please join us. Yay! And it's quite incredible how just a few ohms that you close your eyes and you listen to this music, how it kind of shifts a little the energy.
Absolutely. And that's sound healing right there, is letting your body vibrate and make that sound. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. And people now use singing bowls, they use a harmonium or a shruti box or a guitar or anything, a piano, and you just make a note. You go ah or om, and just making that sound. For one, it connects you with your breathing, right? So you get more in touch with your breathing, just like with yoga. And then you kind of have to be aware of the sound. What does the sound feel like? You listen to the tone, you know, try and match the tone. So it's this whole kind of auditory experience, you know, that's very amazing. And it's a thing called brainwave entrainment. So your brain actually relaxes. The waves of the brain actually get slower and more wide apart, you know, and that's one of the effects of this sound healing, this sound meditation. So, and you can do it. It's so easy. You just om. You can om with kids, you know, you can even, sometimes you om and your dog starts barking, you know.
It's incredible how, like you say, it really brings you to the moment. Mm-hmm. That's meditation, right? Like being in the moment, and not that crazy monkey in your brain taking you all different places. So will you sing your song to us?
I will. I'll sing my song. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do it here. Let's do it. So the song just came out on Friday, so it's brand new. And
just tell us where people can find this song and where they can find you also, follow your work and the concerts that are coming up and everything.
Thank you so much, Viviane. Yeah, so I'm Joss Jaffe, Jossjaffe, and I'm on all the different music platforms, whatever you listen to, YouTube, Spotify. And the song is called Between the Mountains and the Sea. There's a beautiful music video on YouTube if you're more of a visual person, and it's also on Spotify. So here it is live. Yay. Morning after the rain, eternal but never quite the same. So fragile, so soft, held up to the sun, and you're off. No, it's just begun. Gentle rain song spread over hills of green. I don't know where I'm going, Just catch the drops of what has been. Distant peaks, they call to me, speaking of a far journey. Mountains heat and waters deep have caught my dreams while I'm asleep. But to the west the ocean leads, calling at you, Muscle Rica. Roll across the ocean's heart and beat, swept across the rolling sea. Distant peaks, they call to me, speaking of a far journey. Mountains heat and waters deep caught my dreams while I'm asleep. A child's heart is full of dreams. Come to you if you believe. Each moment an eternity between the mountains and the sea. Between the mountains and the sea. Between the mountains and the sea.
Yeah. So beautiful. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you about music. Food for the soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Viviane. It was really an honor.
Yes, it was my honor too. Thank you, guys. And follow Jazz on his Instagram and check out, if you have a chance, one of his concerts, and go on Spotify to listen to his new song.